Hello, everyone, and welcome to the VZWBuzz recap. Today, we are very excited to be talking about planning our vacation and mobile travel tools in general. I don't know about you guys, but I'm done with winter. I have actually been done for at least, 3 weeks. But we are going to have some snow showers tomorrow. And so it helps to start planning a vacation because you kind of tend to start enjoying it too. And I am thrilled to be welcoming blogger, great influencer, and a very good friend, Barb Likos, coming to us from Denver. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on.
It's so great that we finally coincided. I've always wanted to have you on the recap and have you tell us all about your lifestyle and how you use mobile, and I'm thrilled that we can talk about mobile travel today.
Me too. And I was surprised you said winter got old 3 weeks ago. I thought it got old 3 months ago.
Yeah. Now, every time I start complaining sometime around the beginning of March, everyone living in other parts of the country start sharing their incredible weather stories. So I guess no trace of winter for you in Colorado.
Not today. 2 days ago, pouring snow.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so
That's,
we're happy to see it go.
I think that, Colorado has this great, weather pattern. And even if it snows, at least you're in beautiful mountains and you can go skiing, so you're not freezing cold in ice patches like we are. But yeah, I actually decided a couple of weeks ago I was going to stop complaining about the weather, and I'm going to start right now. So
Okay.
I did want to say we're going to give away today this amazing Moto X device by Motorola. It's a great smartphone. I don't know if you've played with it. Barb, have you?
I haven't. I love the Motorola Droid series, though, so I mean, I can imagine it would be great.
Yep, it's a great price. And what we actually want to do today, which we do often, is we want to hear what are some of the tools that you learned off today's chat. I know Robin shared an incredible amount of tips and resources. So not just your mobile tools, but whatever it is that you learned, because sometimes we learn more from each other, than we learn from experts. So tell us once we're done, and we're going to pick from that stream and also try to answer all of your questions. If we don't get to them during the live broadcast, we definitely are going to get to them after the fact on the stream. We will answer every single one at some point, I promise. So let's just get started. I really love the idea of planning a vacation or really planning travel when you're organized and when you have things in place. It makes for the entire experience to be, smoother and more enjoyable, wouldn't you say, Barb?
Oh, absolutely. You have to pre-plan everything, otherwise something will go awry.
Yeah. At least some of the things that you can control, right? And still, are you the kind of planner, the kind of traveler that always plans something? You have everything planned to the last minute, or what's more your style? You tend to be more spontaneous.
It's a little bit of both. I like doing all the research ahead of time. I read TripAdvisor just to fall asleep at night. I love it. I want to know every little thing that's happened to every person at this hotel that I'm going to. But then once I get there, I like to not be planned. So it's kind of a little bit of both.
That's so cool. Do you find TripAdvisor totally reliable? Do you find some, is this like definitely your go-to tool, or do you feel that sometimes, properties and other venues may actually place some key commentary on there?
Yeah, I think that's an issue, but I think if they have enough reviews, you can sort of read around that. I love certain reviewers. I check them out. And I love, to kind of see the real. I love photos. I don't even look at property photos that have been planted by the people. I like the ones that people have taken. Those tell me a lot.
Yeah, this is true. I tend to discard the most negative and also the most positive, and just kind of focus on the reviews that are somewhere in the middle. So to get a good idea.
Yeah, I think you have to.
So let's talk a little bit about travel, like in general, when you think about, say, air travel. What is like sort of some of the first things that you do and the tools that you use?
Well, I'm sort of a direct booker. I know a lot of people like kayak and those types, but for me, I find the best prices when I go direct to the site, and I always download the app for that airline because that way I feel like I get the most up to date. I'm not going through a third party and waiting for them. So that helps.
So you bypass potentially some of the better fares on Orbitz, Kayak, and places like that in favor of going directly to the airline itself that you want to travel with?
I do, because I think when you really price out Orbitz and Kayak and going direct, a lot of times you can get the same fares by going direct.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's always been an easier way.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting too, because when you actually book through the other parties, and whether you may save some, in the end it becomes really difficult to deal with the airline, right? They don't want to deal with you because you came through a third party.
Mm-hmm.
They can't change your seats because you went, it becomes
Right.
a little bit more complicated, right?
And for us, since my son has a wheelchair, we have to have specific seats. So dealing direct with the airlines is a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
But I just find that in general, dealing direct with airlines and hotels tends to save me money in the long run, and I have a direct connection with them if I have problems.
Yeah, that's actually a good tip. If once you decided where you're going and you've picked your airfares and everything else, how do you decide sort of where to go for information on the events that may be happening in the place that you're going to?
I think there's a couple things. And one thing I skipped is when I go direct, I love the app TripIt. Have you used that one?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I love that it combs through my emails. It puts all of those direct emails in one place, that I've got everything, an itinerary planned out. And I tend to use like Yelp or Groupon, and I'll go directly to that destination. I always post ahead of time on Facebook and ask my friends if they've been there, what have they done, what's their favorite thing, what should I avoid. I'm a big believer in social media. Jump on Twitter and say, hey, I'm headed to Newport this week. What's to do? What to avoid? So, like, again, sort of a direct communication there.
Direct. So that's kind of super interesting to me because sometimes we tend to think that a lot of the tools that are out there are going to be better,
Mm-hmm.
at providing a good experience. But since most of us really only go on vacation every so often,
Right.
I tend to agree with you that you try to look for the most direct experience so that you can indeed, make the best choices and enjoy it, from beginning to end.
But absolutely Yelp and Groupon.
And Groupon, okay.
Yeah, Groupon's wonderful for finding deals in that location.
That's a really good tip. I had not heard that, so I might have to check that out on my next trip. Tell me a little bit about staycations. Do you do too many of those? How about road trips even?
We love to road trip, and one of the things that I saw mentioned on the chat today that I loved was making sure that you screenshot the maps that you're using, and also screenshot, anything important, because sometimes when you road trip, it can be a little unreliable. I mean, that happened to us this year going to Wyoming. We were actually going to Mount Rushmore. We were traveling through Wyoming through big patches of no service.
Oh.
But thankfully, I had screenshotted everything, and so I had it all available to me. And I saw that coming through on the chat today, and I just wanted to go, yes, screenshot.
That's actually such an important tip. That if you're in a very distant rural place, not if you have Verizon often enough,
No.
you probably won't lose a connection. But if you do, for any reason, or even sometimes just temporarily, you could be relying on your GPS and be lost, which a screenshot will totally help.
Yeah, it did.
That's really very good. One of my favorite tips, I got one early on, was really take also pictures of your important documents and make sure they are on your Dropbox or SkyDrive if you use that, because this way, if you lose a document, you at least have a screenshot of the number and the
Mhm.
expiration date and all that, right?
Yeah, and that's very helpful. I've actually seen people who've lost their passport be able to travel because they had a photo of it.
Really?
Yeah, it actually happened to a friend traveling on a ski trip to Park City not too long ago. She
Wow.
left her passport on the ski lift and was able to sort of recreate it with the photo. They ask you all kinds of questions and screen you, but she at least got home.
Yeah, yeah. How about connecting? I mean, when when you go on a trip, do you find that the kids want to be connected, and what do you do for that?
My kids are getting older. They're 16 and 18, and they don't want to connect online. I'm worse than they are. I'm the one constantly Instagramming everything, and because it didn't happen unless it's on Instagram.
Right. So
So
true.
so it's not so much the kids as is it me who actually we just took a trip to the beach 2 weeks ago, and nobody saw my photos till a week after we were home because I just said to myself, I'm not going to do it. I actually took a lot of those apps off my phone so
Yeah.
that I could be in the moment. I saved all my photos, and then that way I got to share the really good ones.
Wow.
So,
That's so interesting. Yeah, I think we go through these stages of, when you first are able to do something, and we were talking about this before we aired, that you tend to be really excited. So, with Instagram, I'm like taking every shots, but sometimes it's great to just put it away and really enjoy your vacation and enjoy each other's company, and smell and the sights and everything else are uninterrupted by technology.
well, and that's a weird balance because we all use our phones as cameras now.
Yep.
So you've got to have your phone there. So I sort of found that just taking those ones that beeped and buzzed at me all the time off was the solution.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
I need my camera. I mean, we all know I'm addicted to taking photos with my cameras.
And so is that your choice then? Is that your choice of camera for travel usually your smartphone camera?
Always. I don't own a camera. I love the Motorola, the Droid series for taking photos.
Mm-hmm.
But my Samsung, my Note, is pretty much my go-to.
Mm-hmm.
I have that with me all the time. And it takes gorgeous photos.
Yeah.
So,
And they have
yeah.
great filters, so if you wanted to, actually scrapbook right on the spot, right?
Mhm. Yeah, lose 15 pounds
Yeah.
right away. I can just do
Instantly.
that with the press of a button. Just use Beauty Face, and all of a sudden I've got makeup. It's great.
That's so funny about Beauty Face. If you check any of my Samsung devices, I have them permanently on that filter.
Yeah, me too. Right
On the
here.
Beauty Face. Why not, right? That's a little help.
That's just life.
It helps with
That's
that.
life
Yeah.
in the tech age.
Tell me about like hotel apps. What are some of the things that you think you can do with a hotel app that you wouldn't otherwise?
I'm actually going to go back to what Robin said on the chat here, that she's getting discounts and special perks by using the hotel apps and checking in there. I find that a lot with Yelp. I've had that happen lots of times where I've checked in to a place on Yelp, and all of a sudden I get a message that says, "Oh, we see you're here. We'd like to do this for you." So I love Yelp for that, and I love that Robin mentioned that too. We need to hit her up to write an article on exactly what perks she's getting.
Yeah, no, exactly. I do know that sometimes if you tweet, I'm going to be at such and such a property, they might send you a plate of cookies and other amenities, depending on how much they're paying attention. But yeah, I think that's
often.
yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, you've had that happen. The
I
nicest.
had that happen actually. Hyatt Lost Pines. They
Oh,
are
really?
great about their social media. If you tweet that you're going to be there, I'd be surprised if something didn't show up in your room. They're awesome.
Yeah. That's pretty good. I was asking Lara DiPaola, who is a good joint friend of ours, about her favorite, what was the one thing she was going to advise as far as travel, because she does so much of it. And she's traveling overseas this week. No, or next week, I believe. I can't remember exactly, but she said getting the Verizon Wireless Global Data Plan was great for her because she was able to know that she could be connected when she wanted to. For you traveling overseas, or yeah, really outside the U.S., do you actually get a special mobile plan, or do you try to just use Wi-Fi? What's your choices?
I try to use Wi-Fi. What I use a lot, though, is the international texting plan. If we're
Mm-hmm.
going out of the country, I will switch over and use just the texting. I
Mm-hmm.
don't, if I travel out of the country, my family's with me, so I don't have a need really to keep in touch with anybody. Just sort of the emergency. So I do the international texting.
Yeah, the international texting, or WhatsApp, I guess.
Yeah.
We use it a lot, and I love the fact that you can record a message and send that out too. It's very cool.
Hmm.
And Misty just posted a great resource, International Travel Tips for Staying Connected. It's a great resource right on the Verizon website if you want to check it out.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
One of the other questions that usually comes up too is you mentioned that sometimes you need special arrangements for your son,
Mhm.
which a lot of us do. Or my mom travels, so I also make special arrangements.
Right.
What would you say are like your best tips for when you need to make special arrangements for travelers?
I would say, going back to what we started with, really doing a lot of research ahead of time and really kind of, I love YouTube videos. People post the strangest things. And like my mother-in-law, we're going to Alaska in a couple months, and we just found out she's going to be in a wheelchair. And we decided, so I was on last night and I was looking at YouTube videos of the cabin we're going to be in and noticed that these people kept stepping up.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, it dawned on me, I was like, we need to check and see if there's a lift there. You're not going to be able to get your wheelchair through there. So a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of research ahead of time, but then again, a lot of dealing with the property, calling ahead of time, saying, this is what I need. Can you do this? And after calling, I love to follow up with email. It's always great to have it in writing.
Yeah, such a good point. I mean, do a little homework.
Hmm.
Even if you're really, really harried, set some time aside to research your trip and make sure that you have all the arrangements that you need. My mother, I've been saying to people that she's an elderly woman for like 20 years so that she could get really good seats. And the first time she found out I had said that, she wasn't all too happy, but she was very happy with the seat that she got on the plane.
Yeah.
So, you do what you have to do to accommodate your parents and all. One of the my favorite activities, I know we've shared this here before, is the idea that when you go away and you take the kids, to give them an assignment. To give them maybe a camera, let them use a camera,
Yeah.
or give them a specific assignment, right? Either it is, navigate or record the trip or post key quotes and special events that happened on the trip, so that everybody is involved, in that common experience. Have you tried that? Any of those things?
I have, and I love that. One of our kids is the navigator. One of our kids is really good at, it sounds crazy, but he's sort of the person who makes sure we're all where we need to be. Because I just kind of have this free spirit, and he gets us right where we need to be on time. I agree. You have to have special jobs for everyone, so everyone feels important and feels that they have a buy-in to the vacation.
Yeah, no, this is true. This is true. Well, I mean, I think this has been great. I want to make sure people know your blog is Mom Off Track. Barb Likos is truly one of the best writers. Her blogs are always fun and interesting. And I know you're doing a lot of writing, or some additional writing on crafts, right?
I am. I've just sort of fallen in love with it over the last year, and yeah, I've gotten just really kind of going nuts with crafts. So if you go over today, you'll get some new lip balm tutorials.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
To make lip balm?
Oh yeah, yesterday I made little heart-shaped ones.
Wow.
Very cute. Yeah, I did want to share one tip if we have a second for travel that I love is if you have room in your carry-on, throw another cell phone in. We all have old cell phones around, and I can't tell you how many times my husband has dropped our cell phone, and I've been able to go on Verizon and switch phones. Because if you're not right by a Verizon store, if you lose your phone or you drop it, you're in a lot of trouble. So if you've got room in your carry-on, throw an old phone in there.
Such a great idea, and we all have them. This is
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
What happens if you drop your important device? It's gone.
Yeah.
And you're scrambling the whole time. So that's sort of my biggest tip.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. That's so good. And then, you know, what's your favorite type of luggage? Do you do the wheels and or do you like overnights?
I'm a Sherpani freak. I don't know if you've heard of them.
No.
But it's Sherpani, and oh, I love their luggage. It's like it was something I bought for me, and my luggage doesn't match anyone's in the family, which I love. And it's this really cool Tiffany blue. I'll show you sometime.
Oh my gosh, I would love to do that.
So check out Sherpani. They're cool. They're a very good company, and they're here in Denver, so that's what I like.
Oh wow! Well, we're supporting the local Colorado economy.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to drive people also to remind you all that along with Tony Bennett, Mr. Instagram, check out Tony.Bennett with a double N and a double T, and he does sing occasionally. We're doing a spring photo contest, and we're going to give away a Samsung Galaxy camera. And those things are also pretty amazing because you can share immediately. Have you used one?
I have not. Maybe someday I'll get a hold of one.
Yeah, we'll have to work on that one. Thank you so much, Barb. We're going to give away the Moto X, and I think I just got the prize winner from your great commentaries, and thank you so much. I also want to make sure I thank Robin for her great tips, and Jean, Geek Babe, excuse me, for being on the chat, along with Blogo Mama, and of course Marty and Misty for producing our recap today. Our winner is Ashley Crawford. Congratulations. We're going to be sharing this. Yay. Ashley, and your Twitter ID is Ash Crawford CPA. I'm going to assume that's what you do for a living. So congratulations. You're going to love not having to pay for this.
Yay.
So thanks again. And I hope you can come back soon. I think we're going to be meeting in the next couple of months.
Good.
And I can't wait to see you, Barb.
You too.
Have a great weekend, and have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks again for coming on. And if you have any questions, please post them on the stream, and we'll go back and answer all of them. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next week for a fitness and health Twitter chat and recap. Thanks again, everyone. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.